Hi there. Just started working on a violin here, or I've done quite a bit of work on this violin already, and it's got an interesting issue. Just kind of want to share here. In terms of a cheap violin, the worst thing to cheap out with on a violin, I have to say, has got to be the tailpiece. And I'm going to show a couple examples of how different tailpieces that are very, very cheap just don't work well. So, here it is. I'm going to get you in the clamp here. Clamps. Sorry, that's a little shaky. Okay, so this violin, if you see the tuner over here, I'm just going to back off on this fine tuner a lot. There we go. It finally kicked in. So you see this fine tuner is pretty high up there. How far do I have to twist it before it starts really doing anything? Down almost to the top, and it hasn't done much. These are nylon strings, which are going to give a little bit more, but what's happening? The same thing I flagged this one for. It's too soft, so I'm going to focus in on this. Focus. Okay, well it won't. But the arms on the back here, if it's too soft, as you tighten the screw, it's just going to pull up with the string tension in there. And if the plastic is too soft, you're going to be tightening this, but this is just going to bend. So that's going to do absolutely nothing for you. Another common issue that happens all the time is you just get one set strip. I'm going to bring this back to the point where it's focused, and you can see that's moving very easily. And I actually moved this screw over. The screw isn't stripped, it's the hole itself. So this is junk. And the other thing that happens a lot with cheap ones is this. Let's see if I can get this in focus. I'll move the violin out of the way here. Now, the arm on here is not on the bottom, not in the middle of the lever. And the levers are so loose that it pops over to the side as soon as you start trying to tighten it. You can actually see the screw is stripped at the top there too. So you tighten it, it slips over, and it doesn't work. And then I end up having to mark it bad and keeping it just to strip these screws off of. So I definitely recommend getting a Whitner tailpiece. They are good. They're fairly cheap, but they're worth every penny of it. Another advantage for the Whitner tailpieces, or fine-tuning tailpieces in general, if you're adding a lot of the little metal fine-tuners, I'm just going to grab one here. They have a neat little design, but then they have this metal arm that's sticking out here, and some of them are sharper than others. This is an actual old West German one, but some of the, especially the cheap ones, have a sharp edge on the top, and then they end up digging into the top. You can see on this one here, this has a cheap fine-tuning tailpiece on here, but it's also dug into the top. Where the Whitners will have a good contour on the bottom, more like this one here, that will keep it curved away from the top instead of a point stabbing into it. So, in short, get a good fine-tuning tailpiece. Now I have to call this customer who did not want much work done on this very cheap violin and tell them that, hey, their tailpiece has some issues and they can either ignore it or they can get a good one. So, have a great day. Bye.